Hello everybody, just thought I'd do a really quick segment here for people who are new to van dwelling and new to the channel. Wanted to let you know that the best way to watch this channel is to actually go to the playlist, and if you're trying to learn how to put together a van, go to the playlist for the caravan build-ish series that will show you how Little Blue 2 was put together really quickly and cheaply. Also, I am going to do a video segment here soon on converting Iron Van Rusty Bucket here into an emergency shelter for really cheap, like maybe under $100 in one day. And it should be a usable vehicle for living in with some amenities, believe it or not. But if you've been following the channel and have been keeping up with the current videos, you'll know that I'm currently not living in the van per se. I'm living in a house that I'm house sitting for Walter, and if nothing else, it should kind of show you an incentive for living in a van, because you'll see that there are expenses and whatnot that you end up having to pay when you live in a house. For example, assuming nothing weird happens with the house, you've got electricity expenses, you've got water expenses. If you decide to have TV and internet or whatever, you have to pay for that as well, and you have to pay for trash pickup, and this doesn't even include rent. So you're looking upwards of, on a minimal basis, between $800 to $2,000 or more to live in an apartment or a house every month. That's a lot of money. Now, I'm able to do it because I'm not paying $800 to $2,000 a month to live at Walter's place. He's letting me house sit, and rent on it is very minimal, and he's even been letting me divert the rent to the cost of repairs. So, as I have to try to get things fixed, like the air conditioning, which is going to be super expensive, which I can't even afford if it's too expensive, I've been diverting the rent towards that, per Walter's approval. So this is a very important incentive for living in a van. The cost for living in a van itself is, there's still a cost. It's not like free. Some people assume that you're living in a van, you're living for free. You're not. You still have to pay for the van. If you own the van outright, that's good. In an emergency situation, you can try to find a van or something like this one, Iron Van Rusty Bucket, for under $1,000. I was very lucky that I was able to pick this van up for only $440, and it still runs. And it's got some major issues. How much longer it runs, we don't know, but it does run, and it's even got working air conditioning. So you can do it. You just got to look around and get a little bit lucky. But living in a van, once you have the van paid off, which could be $500 or less, okay, you can configure this van for full-time living for under $100. So for $600, less than the price it would cost you to rent an apartment or a room or something for a month, you can have your own mini apartment, tiny home on wheels here. Now, you do have to pay some fees that, just like living in a house, you would have to pay. For van dwelling, you'll have to pay your insurance for the vehicle, which is, whatever it is for you to insure yourself. You'll also have to pay for gasoline, depending on how far you drive, how much you drive, and the obvious normal expenses of food, water, and things like that. Assuming you're paying for bottled water or something instead of just drinking tap water, filling a bottle with tap water or something like that, which you can do if you're really on a tight budget. Now, food expenses may be slightly higher than living in a house, because typically you won't have a huge refrigerator, if you even have a refrigerator. A lot of van dwellers just use a cooler, and you can get free ice. I've shown on the channel how to get free ice and whatnot for your cooler, and I would suggest a small one, not a huge one. Cooler, that is, so that you can keep 1 or 2 days worth of food in there. And other than that, I can't really think of too many other expenses for living in a van. You're not paying mortgage, you're not paying rent, you're not paying trash pickup, you're not paying for water, you're not paying for electricity. And if you get an inverter, you can even generate your own electricity, which I will show you how to do. I've shown you in the past in previous episodes, but I also will show you on the new van build I'm going to do for emergency shelter. It's a very cheap one. I think the total cost is going to be under $600, including the cost of the vehicle. So those are big incentives for living in a van. And if your vehicle runs really well, you even have a bigger incentive, which is freedom on the road. You could travel. Of course, it's dependent upon how much money you have, because you're going to have to pay for gas if you're doing a lot of traveling. But other than you know, the gas fee and maybe repairs as the vehicle breaks down as you put more wear and tear on it, living in a van is like way cheaper than living in a sticks and bricks. Now, if you own your sticks and bricks, the cost of living in a house drops tremendously because you're not paying a mortgage or rent. But you still have to pay, if you decide to get insurance, you still have to pay insurance for your house. You still have to pay for electricity and water and all that other stuff. Unless you're out in the boonies where they allow you to do it, most cities require you to be hooked up to the grid and to hook up the water and pay those fees, or they start fining you and trying to kick you out of your own house. It's really messed up, but that's how things are, you know, in society. And that's what makes van dwelling so appealing, is you kind of no longer confined by those rules. You can basically skip paying all those things, and you can still live in a city if you do it, you know, in a stealth vehicle, if you're stealth about it. And you can also travel if you don't like where you are. So those, I think, are some of the key points in living in a van versus living in a building, and really worth considering if you've been contemplating this and wondering whether or not you should do it. I guess the biggest determination will be your budget, how much money you have, and what your goals are. Van dwelling gives you freedom from all that debt and paying stuff that you don't. You know, you're paying for a room to sleep in, basically. Anyhow, I think that's about the end of this segment, because I've got to concentrate on the road here. It got crazy. Until next time, everybody, I hope you're having a great day. Take care now.